Hey, how's it going, tech fans? It's your boy Philly here with the Mothership Tech Channel. Today's video actually is going to be an interesting one. Before I actually send over the Corsair Virtuoso headset back to the rightful owner, which is actually Tony, I actually did a very comprehensive review on these headphones, and there was actually quite a few things that I did like about them. Now, even though I didn't want to recommend them at the price point, if we're to just take price for now and kind of throw it in the trash and just look at the headset from a performance perspective, I wanted to give you guys a video on how it stacks up against the Arctis Pro wireless gaming headset, which is typically my go-to gaming headset. But again, if price were no concern, how does this fare against something like the SteelSeries? Perhaps some of you have been going out looking at these reviews and wondering for yourself which headset is better. I think what we'll do for this video, just to keep it simple for you, is we're gonna break it down with three categories. We're gonna discuss sound quality, microphone quality, and just overall comfort. I believe that these are the three most critical areas, especially when comparing headphones side by side. We obviously don't want a 40-minute review video of every little key difference, so we're gonna keep it very specific to these areas, and hopefully it will make you determine, if you're considering buying either one of these, which one you might lean towards.
Perfect.
Alright guys, so let's get into some of the actual differences of the headsets. Now, if you guys are actually interested in more detailed specifications on these headsets, I would strongly encourage you to actually go and view my review videos on either of these headsets because I go more comprehensive into the details of each one. But for the sake of this video, and because we're going to pit these two up against each other and kind of try to determine a winner, I want to actually quickly go over the differences with you. Now, with the Corsair, one thing you'll need to know is that it offers 50mm drivers. Now, this is very important from a sound perspective because it's going to offer you a much more wider range of sound from your highs to your lows to the mids. The simple fact is that the driver within the actual ear cup is bigger, all right? So bigger speaker, bigger sound. Where the SteelSeries is actually using 40mm drivers. So obviously it can't offer as much a soundstage as something like the Corsair can because it's using a smaller driver. Now, it's not to say that this is a slouch. In fact, the listening experience on this is phenomenal. It definitely has some good bass, has some good lows, good mids, good highs. I think a lot of headsets lack in the low area. They're not punchy enough, but that's just my personal perspective. But again, if I had to say right now which of the two are better, Corsair definitely takes the win in the sound department. And the Virtual 7.1 that this offers, although the DTS 2.0 virtual surround sound through the wireless transmitter with SteelSeries is decent, the Virtuoso was much more perceptive. I did them both side by side. It's kind of hard that obviously I can't demonstrate it for you guys. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. But it was much more immersive with the Corsair over the SteelSeries. So when it comes to sound, the Virtuoso definitely take the win here. All right, guys, so the Corsair Virtuoso is actually using an omnidirectional mic, which just simply means that it's picking up sound from all around the microphone. With the SteelSeries, which is right over here, it is using bidirectional. So it's picking it up from, I believe, the one side and the other side, okay? Both do offer noise suppression. However, what we'll do now is a side-by-side mic comparison so that you can actually hear how much background noise it picks up from the keyboard, how well it's bringing through my vocals, along with any other distortion or echo. So let's do the sound comparison. Alright guys, so this is the Corsair Virtuoso SE RGB wireless microphone test, and as you would probably already have guessed if you had already watched my review video, I'm actually pretty impressed how this performs, especially through recording software. Now, one thing I will point out to those that may have not have caught my review video is that when I was using this headset through other applications such as Battle.net or Discord, my friends were hearing a bit of distortion and some echo. Now, that seems to be removed through the actual editing and recording software that I'm using. However, again, take that for what you will. It could have been a use case scenario in my environment, perhaps with the applications, but this is something to be mindful of, that the sound quality you hear within this actual recording may not sound the same through some of your real world gaming experience through other applications. Now, from a noise suppression, I'm going to type on the keyboard and this would be about as loud as I would type if I were typing to anyone. And it is a mechanical keyboard, so obviously it's going to pick up the sounds a bit more. But all in all, I am very impressed with Corsair's quality. It sounds very full. It definitely removes a lot of the nasally sound effect that you would get with other traditional gaming heads, especially when on wireless. So for that, I give Corsair 2 thumbs up with this microphone. Now let's swivel over to SteelSeries. Alright guys, so this is the SteelSeries Arctis Pro wireless microphone test, and as you can tell, just like the Virtuoso, it is very clean and crisp. It also does a great job as well removing a lot of that nasally sound that you get with some other wireless headsets. So both of these headsets actually stand out very phenomenal by their counterparts out there that don't do as well of a job. So I think from either or, you are going to have a fantastic experience. With the SteelSeries, here is the background noise. So this will give you an idea of just how much feedback from a mechanical keyboard will come through on your microphone. Now, some applications obviously will dampen this, but this is the noise suppression right out of the box. So with this said, let's get into what I think in terms of which one does a better job with microphone performance. Alright guys, so that was the side-by-side microphone comparison, and hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully it offered you some comparison between these two fantastic headsets. Now, I wanted to pick a clear winner here, but in this particular category, I'm going to call it a draw. And the reason being is because although I think Corsair does sound better through the recording software, and I am a much bigger fan of where they place the mute button versus the SteelSeries, which is by the volume wheel, so when you end up pressing the button, sometimes you end up hitting the actual volume wheel and it just throws off your volume. But the reason why I wanted to call it a draw is because of what I said before about in real world applications such as Discord and Battle.net, this could be a use case scenario with my particular setup, but friends were noticing some distortion along with some echoing that for whatever reason was not coming through my SteelSeries. And because I can't actually produce that effect for you in a recording session, I'm gonna call it a draw for now, because if you like the way this sounds on the recording software, by all means pick it up and give it a whirl. Hopefully it won't disappoint, and hopefully it was just a use case scenario with my actual setup. But if anybody out there has a similar experience with the Corsair and they're getting the same feedback from the friends, please drop a comment below so that our viewers can actually see that. Alright guys, so now we're going to actually talk about comfort when it comes to the two gaming headsets, which I think is going to sit high on the priority list for any gamer, especially if you're going those long gaming sessions. You definitely don't want the top head pinch that many gamers experience when the headphones sit too heavy, or overheating your ears, or worse, hitting the back plate within the ear cup. Now, if you had caught my review video on the Corsair, the one thing that I did mention was that my ears were hitting this back plate. And if I can show you on the camera here, my original thought was that the padding wasn't adequate enough, but coincidentally, measuring it today when comparing directly to the SteelSeries, this comes in at about an inch in diameter from the actual back plate, where the SteelSeries is just slightly under an inch. So the SteelSeries is actually offering less padding than the Corsair, which made me try to understand why my ear may have been hitting the back plate on the Corsair versus the SteelSeries. And that probably comes down to the ear cup itself, where Corsair has chosen a very big, again, if you see my hand, you can just kind of gauge how big this ear cup is. And I think the problem is that when it's sitting on my ears, and I apologize for my big ears, it's just covering a lot of surface area. So in some areas, it might be hitting more my back of my head, which is why now my ear is hitting that back plate. Whereas with the SteelSeries, it is more of an oval shape, right? So again, by comparison to my hand, it sits really almost like a glove over my ear, which is why it doesn't hit the back plate with this, because it's actually catching more of my head surface so that it's not pinching down on my ear. At least that's the most scientific explanation that I can come up with it, because clearly the padding is less on the SteelSeries. Now, SteelSeries opted to go with a ski headband. Now I'm going to tell you guys, full disclosure, I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but all my headsets prior to the SteelSeries were all some form of a hard strap at the top, and whether or not it was, a foam at the top of the headband, or if it was more just soft or just even thin, they always caused head pinch over prolonged use. I am honest with you when I'm saying I go long gaming sessions with these. I actually don't get that upper head fatigue. Now, I still get messy hair from either of the two, so many of you can probably relate to that, but I definitely do not get the head pinch with the ski headband on the SteelSeries than with any other headphones that I've used out there with a hard top. Now, in saying this, I also do want to mention that if any of you guys would like to see a review on any other gaming headset, please add it to the comments below, and perhaps we'll add it to the channel, especially if you think that there's another headset out there that even offers more superior comfort to the SteelSeries. So if I had to put these side by side, I did not experience any overheating with the Corsair. Something that is very cautious with me when you get into the faux leathers, I find that the fabric materials on other gaming headsets reduces sweat and actual overheating of the ear. I did not really experience that with the Virtuoso, even though it does use that faux leather. And probably chances are is because of the surface area being so huge, it's allowing air to circulate in there. But when it comes to sheer comfort, without a doubt, the SteelSeries takes the win, at least when it comes to my particular head. It just sits more comfortably, it cups my ears more like a glove, my ears don't hit the back plate, and I do not get that upper head pinch with the ski headband. So SteelSeries is taking the win here. All right, guys, so this is bringing us to the end of the video. Now, we put up these two headphones in three main categories. The first being sound quality, and Virtuoso took the win, at least from my opinion, in the sound department. When it came to mic, the mic quality, I actually had to make it a draw. And if you remember watching the mic comparison, I said that the real world application through Discord and Battle.net was a little bit dicey with the Virtuoso, at least from my friends' feedback. So for that reason, I wanted to call that particular category a draw. Now, when it came to comfort, there was no denial in my mind that the SteelSeries is the clear distinct winner. Having used both of these headsets now, the SteelSeries much longer, mind you, but this for at least 12 to 15 hours through my testing cycle, I can go hours with these headphones without any head or ear fatigue, where with this guy, I was instantly getting that upper head pinch after about an hour and a half to the 2-hour mark of any game. All right, guys, so I promised you we're gonna pick a winner, and even though currently and presently we're at a draw with the two headphones, I think that if with price being out the window right now, which is what I mentioned earlier in this video, SteelSeries is gonna take the win. The fact is, it comes with Bluetooth right out of the box, and syncing this with your phone or any Bluetooth device can be achieved right out of the box. The Virtuoso simply does not offer this. The SteelSeries also comes with hot battery swap. Even though each battery only gets you 10 hours of use per charge, where the Virtuoso on a full charge gives you 20 hours, you are constantly wireless with the SteelSeries because you can just keep hot swapping your batteries. And then lastly is the wireless transmitter. I really like the wireless transmitter. I like being able to control the functionality separate from my computer, especially if I'm in a game. I don't want to have to Alt-Tab and make changes to the surround sound and make subtle little changes to the EQ presets going into the IQ software. So the wireless transmitter is a much more easier experience. I could be playing games and change presets and everything else on the fly without having to Alt-Tab or go into the IQ software. Now, this isn't to take away from IQ software as a whole. It is a very user-friendly, easy application to use, and it works wonderful with the Virtuoso. But we had to pick a clear winner. So again, with price in mind, if it's out the window, SteelSeries takes the win. Now, if you have a very limited budget and you want to pick up a headphone that is obviously cheaper than the SteelSeries, the Virtuoso won't disappoint you. And by all means, feel free to go grab one if you are inspired by what I've said with the sound quality and the mic quality. But keep in mind that there are other fantastic headsets as well that offer just as good of a gaming experience that still come in with a lower RSP than these ones. But if you like the premium steel brush look, as well as the microphone quality and what I described with the sound quality, then you won't be disappointed. But that's it. I wanted to give you guys a bit of a side-by-side. I'm sure some of you out there were curious with someone who owned these two headsets and what they truly thought was better. And yeah, I think SteelSeries is still the one here. So if price is no issue, I would pick up these over these any day. All right, guys, so that's going to conclude today's video, and I really actually hope you enjoyed the content. If you actually want to see more headphones compared to other headphones, let us know in the comments below, and perhaps we can accommodate and bring in some other competing headphones to compare against these headphones or any other headphones you might have in mind. Again, if you haven't considered subscribing, please do so. It really helps the channel grow. And if you like this video, please add a thumbs up. And hey, if you didn't, you can add a thumbs down. But this is Philly. Thanks for watching the Mothership channel. Peace out.
Perfect.